Hey family, Dr. Pyant, your therapist, with some pearls for you today. How are you? I hope that you are been doing well. Lots going on. We're watching the news, TikTok, and all of the stuff that's going on. So I'm going to say just a few things to you before I get into what the Lord gave me to say to those who have an ear, because that's what it's about. God said, those who have an ear, let them hear what the Spirit of God is saying to them. Those who have eyes to see, and it's not your physical eyes that we're talking about, it's your spiritual insight. And a lot of times, religion has clouded insight because we all look at, and I'm not, listen, those of you that are religious, you can click off right now because I'm going right here. Okay, and I'm not bashing you. I'm just saying sometimes people that are religious, you only look at one book. The scriptures are a compilation of books. There are other books that have been written by other spiritually awakened people that help us to navigate on this earth. If you only listen and only look at one transliteration that came from during the Roman Greek time, then you are doing yourself an injustice because you don't have the understanding that you need of certain components in the scriptures. You follow what I'm saying? And if you don't understand, for instance, when Paul was writing, you know this already, guys, he was writing letters to different people about different subject matters. That was not directly to us here. But if it fits, if it helps you, then fine. But don't use it as a dogma. And that's what has happened in churches. We've been taking the scriptures and we're using them as you gotta do this because this is what the word of God says and it is written. Yes, it is written, but the word of God is spirit. Yeshua was the word. The word was made flesh. So it's not just in that compilation that we know has been transliterated hundreds of times, and we know that it was done to enslave God's people, to throw us off. And there's not good things that come out of that book because listen, that book brought me a long way and still does. But I have enough insight, enough wisdom to look and see that God has so many awakening people that he has shared his jewels, his precious nuggets with, that have picked it up where others have not been able to put it in because they couldn't. Even Yeshua said, everything that I said cannot be contained in these books. So wake up, people. All right. So anyway, let's put a period there. Let's go to the sound of the trumpet. Okay. We are in the feast of the trumpets, and the trumpet has sound, and the trumpet sounding back in Israel's time and our ancestors' time was a time for awakening, a time for ingathering. Yes, it has signified many other different things, but I only want to talk about wake up. I want to talk about the trumpet is sounding, and we have 10 days of awe of reflection to look inwardly at yourself. Jesus said, don't be looking up in the clouds and all of that stuff, and don't be looking to the right. No, look in, look inwardly, and look at how am I handling my emotional triggers. That's my topic for you today. How are we handling these emotional triggers that we all have? Because if you keep getting triggered by the same thing, then you got to find a different means to deal with it. So I don't want you looking outward. We got these 10 days of inner reflection. Let's be spiritually grounded. Let's look into ourselves. Look at things that are triggering you, people that trigger you, time that triggers you. Some people get triggered by time. I know addicts that get triggered by nighttime because of the habits of mind. So, what are your emotional triggers and what are you doing about it? Because if you don't overcome them, then how are we going to move forward? How are we going to move forward? And yes, we can take baby steps, and I'm not saying it's not easy. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not hard because it is hard, it's not easy, but it can be done because Yeshua said that we are overcomers. And see, I hold that dear to heart. Because if we stop trying to come over and overcome these triggers and these things that are happening to us in our mind, then we're going to be stuck. So the reason why this is important to look at, because you know that when you get triggered, you automatically, you know that I'm a doctor and I've studied the mind, I've studied the body, I do a lot of meditation and a lot of inner balancing. I use a lot of forms. Tapping is one. Tapping to calm yourself down. Because if you don't calm yourself down, you are going to go into fight, flight, and freeze mode. And that amygdala is going to come on track. And you are not going to be able to use your logical reasoning mind. So when I'm tapping here, these are tapping points. It doesn't matter in what order you do them in, but if you have an emotional trigger, I want you to pull that trigger up and I want you to say, what is my solution to this trigger? This 9 o'clock at night, I'm getting triggered. People talking loud to me, I'm getting triggered. The feeling of being overwhelmed, I'm being emotionally triggered. What do I need to do to stop the triggers? Because I want to be in my higher self. I want to live my best life. How do I handle this that is triggering me? And as you're tapping and talking, God is going to release to you knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. First of all, you're going to be calm and you can take that breath to calm yourself, because the way to handle that I've handled my emotional triggers was to look for wisdom. I had one just the other day, and I had to look for the wisdom because that emotional trigger wanted to separate me from people that I really like. And I had to look at it and I had to say, well, look, this is their perspective of something. I am in their life. And then I had to look at why. Don't let these emotional triggers move you away from people, because you could be the one that God is using to help them. And if you allow yourself to be so triggered that you shut them out of your life because you just can't deal with them, then you haven't passed that test. Because the test is to us. You're being tested, not them. We're being tested. And if you haven't overcome and passed that test, then it's going to come again. So look at how you're handling these emotional triggers and understand that when you get triggered, look at the mode that you go into. Am I in fight, flight, or freeze mode? I don't want to be in any one of those. Dr. Pine said that's the amygdala. And when I am triggered and my amygdala is triggered, I cannot get anything from my prefrontal cortex. So I need to hear from God. I need to hear from Source. I know you sounded that trumpet. This is the feast of the sounding of the trumpets. Sound your word in my life, that I may hear your truth, oh God, that I may know what to do, that I can be a better version of myself, that I can represent you while on this earth. But I want to live my life with peace. I want to live my life in flow. And family, I know when these triggers come, you come out of flow. You go into something to soothe, whatever that might be. That's not overcoming. Okay? So let's just call a spade a spade. We need to overcome. So in these days ahead of us, let's focus on our inner man. Let's look at our triggers and let's do something about it. All right? So I love you so much. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing. Thank you for your comments, because your comments keep me inspired. I know that you're looking forward to hearing from me. And I appreciate that because it lets me, it confirms to me. Because if one person hears it and one life is changed, one can change 1,000 lives. And that's all that matters to me, that I'm obedient to what the Almighty has given me to do. And that life that I'm helping to change and transform is being transformed. Remember, you can always follow me on YouTube and you subscribe to my channel that you don't miss anything. I'm on Instagram Facebook, TikTok cuts me off after 10 minutes, and this video is 10 minutes. So this is not going to be a TikTok video. All right. So until next time, this is Dr. Pyatt. These are your pearls for now. Tap and ask, how, what do I need to hear to handle these emotional triggers that take me out of flow and out of peace? I love you so much. Until next time, shalom.